Alright, update on Cake. Let's see what's going on. Now, in our last video, we were talking about this cup and handle pattern that was playing out. I think when we recorded our video yesterday, we were here, we were just pushing above the handle. Since that video, we've come up, we've back tested the handle, we've also back tested the short-term moving average, which is also a good sign on the 4-hour, and we have started to push up. Now, we talked about what region we need to break the neckline of this cup and handle, and, you know, convincingly as well, this cup and handle breakout slash neckline also lines up with your 618 Fibonacci from this high to this low. So, very interesting stuff going on right now. We've come up to the 618 Fibonacci, and as you can see in the past 8 hours, we are having a slight push to the downside. If we look at the 4-hourly squeeze mom, the bears tried to, you know, push us back into the pattern when we came into the 4-hour, but the bulls stepped back in and we had some strong support. So the squeeze mom is currently consolidating, building support, and it's really hanging around the heartline. This means, you know, in theory, in the lower time frames, the bears or the bulls can step in, but as you can see down here on the 4-hour, the bulls have been the first ones to step in with strength. If we come down to the hourly, this makes sense because we are having a momentum shift in the lower time frames. If we look at the 1 hourly as well, since we topped out approximately 6 hours ago, we've come back. We've back tested the hourly EMA ribbons, and now we're kind of hovering above the short-term moving average of the 1 hour, which is good because these EMA ribbons are going to be dragged up. The same with the 4-hour. These are currently converging to the upside towards the current price, and like I said, it is good what we're seeing here, that the 4-hourly squeeze mom is starting to see a slight bit of push. I really like the setup we've got on the 4-hourly squeeze mom, where the bulls just refuse to let go. Every time we come back down to the heartline, we reset, and we've done this a lot of times before. You can see we pretty much chopped around in this bullish stance forever. So I really like the setup on Cake. On the daily, once again, you can see the cup and handle pattern. It looks a little bit better on the 4-hour in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, on the daily, we're pushing up. The past week worth of volume, I mean, it's mainly been in the green. We haven't had too much of a push, and I mainly think that is because Bitcoin is currently deciding whether it wants to hold this as a bottom or whether it doesn't. You know, you can see if I zoom out on Bitcoin here, you can actually see Bitcoin is in this ascending channel right now. We have found a temporary bottom around this region. I do hope that we start pushing up. If we do, I imagine lots of volume and confidence would come in the market for altcoins, and as such, Cake would go on a huge rally. So not too much has changed since yesterday's video, so I'm not going to make this too long. All in all, your neckline is still the same. The breakout target is $9.70 approximately. If we do break out of that region, then we have a breakout target all the way up here at a 22% increase, hovering around $11.85. We also do have some resistance coming in just before that level at the 200-day moving average, so you could see a short local top at 11.50, potentially a push up, something like this, backtesting the 786 before going on to higher price targets. Either way, I do think in the short term that Cake is setting up for a huge move. Now, we talked about this in my last video, these macro momentum shifts that we have on the daily, but in case you didn't watch my last video, I will just quickly talk about this before we do wrap up the video. You can see the market moves in waves. We have these bearish waves and bullish waves and bearish waves, and it looks like we're pushing over into a bullish stance right now. You can see when the bears lose momentum, it turns dark green and we switch into a bullish phase. When the bulls start putting in these dark green candles, it means the bulls are losing control and we're switching over to a bearish phase. And we trade in these waves, we go up and down in the market. You can see we had continuation of the bullish impulse to the upside. Over here, we really started losing momentum for the bears on the 7th of March on the squeeze mom. Where were we on the 7th of March? Well, we were all the way down here, and we proceeded to move all the way up into this bullish wave, and we had an 83% increase. Bear in mind, this is not me cherry picking the data. If I wanted to, I could draw it down from here and say, oh, you know, we had a momentum shift and we had a 105% increase. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in showing you how much it goes up after we fire that we are losing momentum. And as you can see, you know, we did put in a temporary low. Like I said, these are macro indicators. For example, you can switch over to bullish, you can actually come down, make a new low, and then blast off in a couple of days time. That is a lot of the time what happens with the squeeze mom. It does cool bottoms pretty well, but like I was saying, you can see we've had a momentum shift that started on the 19th of April. If we extrapolate this, you can see we're currently only up 12%, and even if you want to draw it to the wick that we put in up here, we've only had a 15% move. Bear in mind, these are huge macro indicators, and look, we are losing momentum. We are literally about to flip. I think within the next day or two, probably the next day, if we do have a big push above the $9.70. If we don't, and we keep hovering around these levels and increasing, then within 2 days, in my opinion, we are going to see this squeeze on fire to the upside. And what happened once we started putting in our first green candles? Well, you can see we had a huge increase. I believe this is the date range. From when we put in our first light green candle, we had a huge rally that lasted 14 days, and from the point where we put in light green candles, we had a 75% rally. This is one of the many reasons I'm super bullish on Cake. Also, I believe you can stake it for about 70% on Binance, but you can stake it for 79% on PancakeSwap. So I'm a huge fan of PancakeSwap. I am holding a bag as well, just to be transparent. I have talked about this in my last videos. If you've been watching my Cake videos, you know, for the past month or so, you know that we got in down here on this retest at approximately $5.40. There was a huge macro trend line that we had a big reversal above. Now, where am I personally targeting? I talked about the cup and handle pattern at $11.80, but I am personally targeting the first Fibonacci region up here at $14.55. And before we wrap up the video, there's something very interesting that I wanted to show you that I did not notice in my last video. So we will we'll remove the indicators, we'll make it nice and clean. So if you notice what's going on right now, you can see something like a inverse head and shoulders. This is one of my favorite bottoming / reversal signals. And you can see, you know, by time we would have broken out of the cup and handle, we would only be, you know, at the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders. Let me get this back, and then we'll take a breakout target. You can see shoulder, head, shoulder, and we'd be running into this resistance again at $10.45. This is a huge bottoming signal for Cake. I think this looks very nice, and the breakout target would lead us all the way up to $14.46. So what is interesting about $14.50 basically, so if we come back, $14.50 also perfectly lines up with your 236 Fibonacci retracement level. So there is a huge amount of confluence and confidence in the market right now. I think the confidence is going to allow us to rally out of this cup and handle, and like I said, we've got lots of confluence at the top here at the 236 Fibonacci. We have the 236, like I said, and also we'll have this inverse head and shoulders pattern coming right over to that region. So if I line it up as a line of best fit, you can see around here at $10.40 we would be having a breakout. So we've got a lot of necklines to keep our eyes on. Nonetheless, I'm not really worried about what we're seeing with Cake right now. I think the bullish momentum is only just starting to gear up. That is what the daily time frame is saying. Even if we come down, we've got strong support at $9.30, where the short-term moving averages and your 0.5 fibbers. Once again, your major neckline to get above in the short term is $9.69. That is the most important in my opinion, because we've had 2 rejection points from here and we had a top up here. So while this is a much more macro pattern up here at $10.40, I believe the momentum of this cup and handle breakout would carry us past the rejection point, or past the neckline rather, of the head and shoulders at 10.30, carrying us all the way up to 11.83, at which point we would have fired bullish on the daily squeeze bomb, and we would be breaking out of this inverse head and shoulders with a price target all the way up here, which is what I'm aiming for at $14.55. I'm extremely bullish on Cake. I think this is a great long-term project. This is also a great short-term trade for me. I do plan on holding a bunch of Cake for the long term. However, in my videos recently for Cake, I'm really hammering in, you know, this short-term trade that I have, and I do plan on taking some profits when we do come up to $14.50. That is all I see. We have a cup and handle within an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I think that's pretty crazy. I think we're looking pretty great for Cake right now. Let me know what you think below. Congratulations to all of you if you did get in any of these trades on Cake with me. As always, none of this is financial advice. It is just my opinion on the market. And yeah, you've always got to do what's best for you. Cowboy out. Peace.